Hello friends, welcome back. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm getting ready to make some homemade sauerkraut and I thought I'd bring you along. So I'm just getting everything ready. I've got 3 cabbages here that I've pulled from my garden. These are the first 3. I've planted 24 cabbages this year in succession because I didn't want to be overwhelmed with everything all at once. So these are just the first 3 that are ready to go, and I thought I would just show you how I make sauerkraut. So I've got everything ready. Yeah, I think so anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my cabbage and get it ready.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off 2 leaves that look in good condition, and I'm going to set those aside. I actually only need 1, but I always take off 2 just in case, so it's just a habit, I guess. And then I'm going to cut off the bottom of each one of these cabbages. So when you do that, all those extra leaves that you're not going to use, they just fall off. You don't have to sit there and pull them off. And any loose leaves, I go ahead and take those off as well because these did come from my garden, so I never know what's under there. It might be a little baby slug or something. I don't want them in my sauerkraut. So if you're buying your cabbages from the store, then you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and rinse those 2 leaves and set those aside, and I'm going to rinse my cabbages as well. Okay, so once everything is cleaned and ready to go, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the core out of these cabbages. So some people actually save the core and put it in their jars. It's like a good luck thing to find. I don't save the core. I just toss it in the compost with the rest of the cabbage parts that I didn't use, and I go ahead and shred my cabbage by hand. So obviously, if you don't want to do that, you can use a food processor. I actually enjoy this process. I enjoy spending this time in my kitchen and doing this. But like I said, you can use a food processor. So I'm just going to shred it, and I like it kind of a rough shred, not super fine. So I would say, take time to get it to the consistency that you like. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put my shredded cabbage in a big bowl. Actually, with 3 cabbages, I use 2 bowls, and I would say use the biggest bowls that you have. Okay, so as you can see, I've got both of those bowls filled. All 3 cabbages are shredded. So now I'm going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of canning salt. And so because it's 2 bowls, the second bowl is a little bit smaller, so I'm just going to split that salt between both bowls. And then you're just going to want to start massaging your cabbage, and at first it feels like nothing is happening, but you just want to keep working. You're basically working that salt into the cabbage, and you just keep going. Gradually it's going to start taking up less space in that bowl and starting to basically break down. That salt is causing it to break down. So once you've worked it really good, and this will probably take 10 to 15 minutes, and then you'll start noticing there's a lot of liquid in the bottom. That salt has pulled out all the liquid from the cabbage, and that's what you want. So when you start to see that, it's natural brine. That's what you've created here. So that's when you're going to go ahead and grab whatever type of container that you're going to use. Some people just pack them into individual smaller size jars. I just use this giant gallon size jar. And as I'm putting it in there, I'm really packing it in. You don't want any air bubbles or anything. You want it packed in there really well. And once you get all of that cabbage in, you're going to want to add all of that liquid as well. So the reason you want to make sure that it's packed in there really well is, like I said, you don't want any air bubbles or anything. You want to make sure that everything is underneath that brine that you've created. The salt in it is going to prevent any bad bacteria from growing, so it'll be perfectly safe to eat. The good bacteria will flourish in there, and that's basically all natural probiotics. So, and that's what you want. So make sure and get all of that liquid in there. So I still have an extra bowl to massage my salt into and fit into this jar. Believe it or not, I fit 3 cabbages into this jar. And remember those 2 leaves that I pulled and saved? Well, I'm going to go ahead and rinse those and tear them apart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them on top of my cabbage inside that jar, and it's going to create a barrier between the air and basically keeping all of my shredded cabbage underneath that liquid. So occasionally you might notice that the liquid is diminishing in there. You want to make sure it stays under liquid. So if you need to add more, go ahead and add more water. I would add a little salt to it as well, but that's just me. You don't have to. But I also am going to put some rocks in a baggie right on top of that to just hold everything down like a weight. And as this ferments more, it's going to shrink inside the jar, and eventually my lid will fit on there. But I don't want to keep it tight because it's going to release more water, and that's why I have a cake pan underneath it. But anyway, hope you guys liked this video. And of course, I hope you're having a great day. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.